That year, a nice guy from California, serving in Syria, wrote to me. Without missing an opportunity, I met him, since I recently moved to Chicago, and communication with Americans was very useful. But who would have thought that a love correspondence would turn out this way? In November 2021, I received a request on Instagram. I didn't pay attention at first, but then I decided to look at the page. It was a guy of Asian appearance, athletic build. The photos were of poor quality, but I liked him, and I decided to answer. We started chatting quite nicely. It turned out that his name was Kelvin, and he was originally from California. I found out that he is a military man who is under contract in Syria. When Kelvin was little, his parents died in a car accident, and he was a pupil of a monk. Kelvin dreamed of being realized in real estate after serving in the armed forces. After a short chat on Instagram, we decided to switch to WhatsApp, as he had communication problems. From the very beginning, he expressed his intentions about me. No one has ever spoken to me like Kelvin. And after just a week of communication, he confessed his feelings. Of course, I didn't believe it. After all, how can you fall in love with a person after such a short time, also by correspondence? But since I was ill at that time, and I wanted simple communication, I did not stop communicating with him. We talked to him on the phone, as I speak English pretty well. The voice was pleasant. We talked about how he would come and take me to his place. At that time, his contract had already ended, and he was waiting for an order to send him home. His seriousness scared me. I wasn't ready to move. According to my calculations, a lot of money was needed for a comfortable stay in California, and as you understand, most of the savings have already gone to move to Chicago. Staying in a foreign country was already stressful, and it was scary to add to this a new move to an unfamiliar guy. So I asked Kelvin to wait on it, and he agreed. He was always interested in my health, asking if I had eaten and how my day went. It was insanely cute, and I got attached to him. As time passed, our communication became more confidential. In addition, he was 7 years older than me, and this was also a plus, since the relationship did not go well with guys close to my age. And so we talked for 3 weeks. Although it feels like we've known each other for a year. One day early in the morning, I remember how now, it was on Saturday, he wrote that they were attacked by terrorists. No one died, but many were injured. And Kelvin reported that they are still under threat of a terrorist attack. I was worried. The commander gave them an order to send all valuables to their relatives so that they would be safe. However, Kelvin did not have parents, and he did not trust his friends, since earlier one of them stole a large amount of money from him. In this regard, he asked me to help him. All he had was a box with all his certificates, awards and money, the sum of $50,000. I agreed because I really wanted to help him. I was required to send him the necessary data, full name, address, my personal code, and something else. After that, we waited for news from the delivery company. Kelvin sent me the number of the company I needed to contact for further details. He wrote a letter for them on my behalf, saying that I was his wife. After contacting the company, I clarified the data, and then the most interesting thing began. I had to pay a fee to have the parcel sent to America. Kelvin had previously given his commander some amount of money to cover taxes. But it turned out that the recipient pays the tax. These are the rules. At that time, I was in a difficult financial situation after moving. And when they told me the amount, I thought that $40 was required. But even that made me nervous, as there was no money at all. But then I clarified, and it turned out that you need to pay about $4,000. I was in shock. The fact that I had nowhere to take such a sum was out of the question. Having said this to Kelvin, I received a big wave of disappointment and indignation. He begged me to help him, saying that later I would be able to recover all my losses and take the necessary amount from his box. I tried to convey to him that I don't even have a part of the amount. To which he accused me of lying. It really hurt me, because no one had dared to say that before. At that time, I had an impressive debt in the region of $5,000. And I definitely couldn't borrow from someone else. To prove my position, I sent Kelvin a screen from my personal account at the bank. But it wasn't enough, he raged. It got to the point that he began to accuse me of a crime at the international level. Which I didn't expect at all. I asked for reliable information about the violation of the law. To which Kelvin began to deny, saying that at the moment he only cares about his things. And then I decided to wait until tomorrow, hoping for a constructive dialogue. But nothing changed the next day. He began the dialogue with the phrase, "Are you going to pay the fee, or am I going to the military department?" Then I was stunned. He threatened me in a brazen way. After all the words he said to me, after all the confessions, I didn't recognize Kelvin. There wasn't a trace of that nice guy left. I thought he was developing post-traumatic syndrome, and when I reported it, I received a flurry of negativity. He continued to threaten me, referring to the fact that they have all my data to find me. I realized I screwed up. She told me all the information about herself, right down to the schedule. My naivety and excessive trust in people led to this situation. Of course, I didn't get any proof of my guilt. This was initially understandable. But the situation was as unpleasant as possible. When I asked for the document, Kelvin said, "You know there's no proof, right?" To which I asked, "So you tricked me, and I'm not guilty of anything?" Then he fell silent. I didn't get any more messages from him. I was even more shocked when I told the story to my friends. It turned out that another guy wrote to my friend somewhere at the same time as me. And you know what? He was also a Korean from California, and was serving in Syria. Unfortunately, a friend succumbed to all the tricks, and sent the money. As you already understand, the parcel did not come to her at all. At that moment, I realized that it was a scam that originally started as a beautiful love affair. I was left with a strong sentiment from what happened. It was a shame to tears. But after that story, I stopped blindly trusting people. Put a like. Subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new stories.